Hello there, guys, and welcome to another episode of Second Life Electronics, the show where we, as amateurs, learn to fix technology. Now, I have to make that very clear because we've just found our first troll recently who was really up himself and decided that he would basically try and slag us off for our PyStorm video, and in doing so prove that he didn't actually know how the PyStorm worked, but claim that he knew it better than anybody else. We're not here to try and make out that we are the bee's knees in everything technology. We're here to learn, and we're here to learn with you guys. So that's a little bit of a grumble out of the way. Let's get on with today's video. Today, we're going to be going back to the R36XX because I was upgraded to the Dark OS operating system. I put the original memory card, the original SD card that came in with it, into the console in the other slot, so I can get all the ROMs back. I'm planning on using this when I fly to Japan with my wife later on in the year. And it doesn't have my favourite ROM hack from Pokemon on it, which is Pokemon Unbound, which I actually own as a physical cartridge. So today we're going to rip this Game Boy Advance cartridge as a ROM onto the R36XX. Let's get started. Okay then, guys. So today we're going to be using this GBFlasher adapter, which is by a guy called Pete Simon. I actually brought this on AliExpress for I think it was about £26. USB-C. Just plug that in, and then very simple to use. You just simply push the cartridge to the top. You can see it's now lit up with the light on there. Not sure how easily you can see that because of the glare from the camera, but it's lit up saying that it's detected there's a Game Boy Advance game in there. So we hit connect. It's then detected the GBFlasher. So this one currently running on firmware L14. I don't know if there's a new version. No, it looks like it's on the latest version already. So we tell it it's a Game Boy Advance cartridge, and then we're going to just analyze the flash card. So it's saying that it's a ROM size 32 MIBs, save type 512K flash or 1 meg flash. It's an unlicensed, obviously it's not an original Pokemon game. And then all we need to do is click backup ROM. We're going to tell it where we want to save this to. We know this is not Pokemon Fire Red, although that's what obviously the ROM is based on. It's going to be Pokemon Unbound. So we hit save, and it's then going to transfer all of that data off of the cartridge, which it's just doing now. Yeah, as you can see, it doesn't really take that long. Time lapse so far, I've got 46 seconds. I reckon it's got another 18 seconds left to go. So it's quite a quick process. ROM backup is complete. As there is no known checksum for this ROM in the database, verification has been skipped. But we can now see we've got Pokémon Unbound. Just fire that up at an emulator. And there we go. So now the last step that we need to take, we're just going to grab the memory card out of our R36XX console. We've got our GBA file there, into the Game Boy Advance folder, paste that in there, oh, like that. We can now put our memory card back into our R36XX console, fire it up. Wait for that to load. We can then go over to Game Boy Advance. Sure how well you'll be able to see this. Probably a lot better if I put it into the camera shot. Let's scroll down, find Pokémon Unbound. And there we go. I don't know if it's going to say it's working with a save or not. It looks like it's working fine though. Yeah, that's working fine. And that will actually support saving as well. So there we go. That was just a very quick video, I know. But that's how you could legally back up your Game Boy Advance. Now, I know it is a bit of a grey area because obviously it's a Pokemon hack ROM that I've chosen. It's the only Game Boy Advance game that I had handy. But that could be used for any retail Game Boy Advance game. So if you've got any Game Boy Advance cartridges laying around and you do want to be able to play them legally on your R36XX or R36 console if you don't have the built-in Wi-Fi, that is how you do it. All you need is the little device, little Game Boy Flash device, and you can just rip your game straight off. The handy thing with this as well is you can actually put the saves back onto the original cartridge. So if you've taken this away on holiday, like we're going to, for example, and then, you know, I level up all of my Pokemon, I get quite far in the game, and then I decide I actually really want to be playing this back on my original Game Boy now. Well, I can then just use this, and I can actually write the save data from my save file on my R36XX back onto the cartridge, and then continue my save on an actual Game Boy Advance. So I will leave a link in the description below to where you can pick one of these up. But that is all for now. Trolls, keep yourself to yourself. I'm not interested in what you've got to say. If you've not got anything productive to say, then what are you really doing here? For the rest of you, thank you very much for your support. We're now up to, I think at the time of recording, 53 subscribers. That is fantastic for a channel that I really didn't think was going to go anywhere. You guys have proven me wrong. You've made it worthwhile me continuing doing these videos. Please do let me know in the comments down below what else you'd like to see us doing on the channel. I get my fingers involved in many pies, so For example, I just recently started doing vinyl record collecting. So if you want to see any of that, Laserdisc collection, I've started building up a collection with my wife of Laserdiscs. So if you want to see any content related to them, let me know in the comments below. Until then, bye for now.